Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Melvin Williams coming to you with another video. I am currently at the construction site of the future home of Praise Cathedral Church of God. I am presently on the inside of the facility. Elder Wofford and Deacon Murphy Robinson are here. And it's quite dark in here, but I think we're going to be able to get a few good shots. We just want to go around the facility and document the progress that has been made and is being made in the rebuilding of our sanctuary.
Morning. Brother Robinson and I are standing here together in the sanctuary, and we're not going to spend much time here because you've seen so much of this before, but we do want you to note the amount of sheetrocking and the amount of insulation that has gone on behind us. As you can see, these walls have been sheetrocked, they've been insulated. As you look out through the sound vestibule, you'll see that those have been insulated. All of these walls, the outer walls, are being insulated at R19 factor, and then on top of that, the R19 on the insulation. Then there is the insulation factor of the dense glass. Then there's the insulation factor of the white board that goes on top of the dense glass. And then there's the insulation factor of the actual stucco and the coloring that goes on top of that. And so this building is going to be exceedingly comfortable, whether in the heat we will be able to maintain our coolant, and in the cold we will be able to maintain our heat. And that's very important because this entire building is heated and cooled based on particular zones. And so outside, and we're going to go down the hallway in just a minute, outside we want to show you that the insulation goes all the way up to the roof, and of course the roof is already insulated. And on the inside walls, all the inside walls are also insulated so that we have protection from sound as well as climate control. So right now we're going to go up these stairs onto the balcony, and you'll notice, I should say onto the stage, and you'll notice that there's no ramp for a handicapped person to enter onto the stage inside the church. But let me show you how we've got that fixed. So right now I'm standing where double doors that will allow the person to exit through the emergency egress, and that's where that light is. There'll be no fixtures on the outside of that door, but in the event of an emergency exit, people will be able to come from the stage, out of the balcony, even from down the sanctuary, out this door. There'll be double doors here that have glass in them so that you can look through, but they will be double doors. And then I'm backing up. Off to my left is where the changing rooms, and you've seen that framed out before, access to the changing room, to the choir locker where the choir robes will be, and access to go upstairs to the baptistry. All of that's back there. But now to your left and my right is the ramp. And you'll notice that that is a very long ramp. That ramp is over 30 feet long. And the reason that ramp is over 30 feet long, and it goes all the way from the ground floor, access from the hallway, from the conference room, and also from the back door to the sanctuary. It's over 30 feet long because the ADA requirement is that there is 1 foot of ramp, 1 foot of ramp in the slope to every inch from the ground to the particular level, in our case the stage. And so the ramp access, so that we can take care of anyone who needs that kind of assistance in a wheelchair or just to walk up a ramp rather than stairs, that ramp access is out here. And here you will see where we've got the insulation all the way up to the ceiling, to the roof line. You'll see where we've already run much of the conduit that's going to house the electrical work. You can see all the way up at the top. The silver, where our HVAC, that's the heating and air conditioning vents, they have already been insulated. That thick black pipe is for the sprinkler system that has already been in and already been approved by the fire department in the city of San Antonio, the fire inspector. And you'll see the lines.
That's your gas.
That thin line is the gas, because we do have gas heat, gas water. That's going to save us quite a bit on our cost. And then you see also that the lines here for our audio, visual, and also the lines have been pre-wired for our cameras, our motion sensors. I've just stepped out of that long hallway, and I've just stepped into what will be double doors that go into a large storage room that will actually be under the bridge between the balcony inside the sanctuary, the bridge from the steps going up in concrete, and the actual top of the balcony. And that's got to be fabricated. It should be fabricated, finished out within the next week and a half. And that's where a lighter grade of steel than the red iron, but certainly stronger than this, will be used, and then concrete going up in the balcony, so that the seating will go from the stage all the way up and around and on the other side. And as you can see, even these walls, all of our walls are insulated. On the outside walls are 19, on the inside walls are 11, so that we have good climate control. And then we will have the music and the noise where we want it, and where we need quiet, we will have quiet and seclusion where we need it. I've just made a turn from that hallway, and now my back is to the conference room, so I'm going to back into our conference room. This is one of the paths that our bishop will be able to take without coming into the sanctuary. And as you notice, the walls have already been insulated. The sheetrock is already up. They've just got to finish taping it. The noise you hear behind us is because of the workers. They're still adding sheetrock inside. You're hearing the screws going in. All of our studs are 16-inch on center. We've measured a good number of them, and so we know that that's what we've got. The sheetrock is the right quality. Deacon Robertson and I have been checking this daily to make sure that all the standards that you, our members, have required, that the architect has required, and that what you're expecting being met. Now I'm standing just outside of the conference room in the outer lobby of the office area, the executive area. And in this outer lobby is where, when we have visitors or someone waiting to see the pastor or guest speakers, their adjutants or whomever will be able to wait in this area. Over here, your left, my right, is the doorway that will be used during the week when the rest of the church is closed. Anyone wanting to access the office will come in this door. There is plenty of parking around this on the back side of the church. And then, of course, we'll be able to monitor who is coming in using our camera system. We'll be able to let them in using our remote access system. And I've moved now further into the executive wing. This is one of the offices that we have set up. Bishop Eichelhart has designated this as the First Lady's office. He has said he knows that the next pastor, whomever that's going to be, is going to have a First Lady, and he wants that First Lady to have an adequate office. And then, of course, anytime a dignitary that would require the use of this office comes in, this office will be available and appointed accordingly. You see the gentleman now working. He's working on finishing up some of the sheetrock work. in what's going to be our green room. Our green room is where all of our guest speakers, anyone coming that is going, the bishop is going to present to the congregation, this is the room that they will use so that they don't have to use his office. Over to my left is the administrator's office. I'm going to back into this area and point out that again, all of the rooms are insulated, all the outside walls are insulated, R19 all the way to the ceiling. And in all of our offices and all of our classrooms, we have TV monitors. TV monitors that are built in, and all of our televisions will not only be capable of receiving a stream of live video feed of anything that comes out of our audio-visual room, but they'll also be capable of hooking into either by smartphone or by HDMI, VGA, or some other kind of connector, so that any kind of presentation or any kind of video and audio that is necessary for that particular area can be accessed. So in fact, all of our classrooms and all of our offices would be considered smart classrooms. This is the lavatory that's going to be used for the support of all the office staff, not including the pastor, and we've got it all blocked off for water, and then a refrigerator area and other kinds of things like that. And also, in this large lavatory, I want to point out that all of our standalone lavatories are ADA compliant. And what that means is, in addition to the lavatory seat being at the code height, that behind them they're all blocked so that, and on the side, they're all blocked so that the necessary grab bars are available. And we have checked and verified that they're all blocked so that when somebody grabs a hold of one of these bars, they're not going to pull out of the sheetrock, that they are properly anchored. I just moved right next door from that lavatory we were just talking about into the secretary's office. And in the secretary's office, we're going to have built-in cabinets, furniture cabinets, that the secretary will use to have all of her equipment. So these will be 20 inches deep, and all of her supplies, papers, and everything she needs to support that office will be right here at her fingertips. And this is where the secretary's desk will be, the pastor's secretary, and the office assistant's desk will be here. And then you'll notice in this particular room, on the wall, we also have a camera, or excuse me, not a camera, but the monitor. And this monitor will not only be able to see what's streaming like everything else, but will also be able to see what's being shown by our security cameras inside and outside of the building. Now I'm standing in the pastor's private entry. This is his garage. He'll have remote access through the garage area. This garage is designed and sized to fit two 28-foot stretch limousines. And you'll notice that the insulation's going up. This will be a climatized garage so that when he comes in, he will be not only out of the weather, whatever's coming down, but he'll also move into a climatized area. Again, it'll be insulated all the way up to the roof. And here we have insulation. A moment ago, I told you that that lavatory had the bars, or I should say had the blocking for the bars. We're on the other side of that lavatory. And here is the blocking for the sink and the blocking for the bars. And so we know that we're getting a quality job because we have checked everything to ensure that it is not only up to the code, but it is up to the drawings that the architect gave us, and that's how we know it's up to code, because all of our drawings, engineering design, were approved by the city of San Antonio. I just backed into the pastor's office. Unique to our pastor's office, not only that he has the TV monitors pre-wired for the inside of the office, not only does he have all of the electrical outlets that the codes require, but if you look down at my feet, you'll see that we have conduit boxes wherein electrical wires, the wires for his telephone, the wires for his information technology connections, they will all come out of the floor. This is in front of his desk at the back end of his office, and we have the same capability right under his desk. The pastor's desk will sit over this. The intent is that our pastor will not have to step over any wires to navigate his office. Everything will come out of the floor, go up onto the desk or up through the bottom of the desk. He will not have to step across any wires as he goes throughout his office. This is his back wall where his credenza will sit. This door goes to his walk-in closet. And this door, that still hasn't been completed yet, framed out, leads into his private lavatory. And again, all standalone lavatories are this size, and they have to be ADA compliant. Not only the lavatory, but his private shower is ADA compliant. We're now standing in one of our large classrooms, which is actually two classrooms combined. And you'll see that we have the video, I should say, the television monitor station here and over here. And in this area, we're going to have a floor-to-ceiling thick accordion door that will go all the way the length of this room, floor to ceiling, so that when we want to divide this room into two of our still larger, but into two smaller classrooms, then we have that capability. We also have that capability right across the hall, and on the other side of the hall, is where we're going to have our chapel. That room is exactly like this one, except it has windows to the outside, and we're going to step across there right now. We're now in the hallway to our education wing, and to this side, my left and my right, are the large classrooms. All the way to the rear, we have 4 other classrooms, one on each side behind these 2 classrooms, and then up against the far wall we've got 2 more, for a total of 8 classrooms. This is that other large classroom I was telling you about just a moment ago that will have the divider from the floor to the ceiling. And you will note that we've also got the television monitors here. This will also serve normally as our chapel. Now our chapel is where we're going to have services wherein we're expecting 150 people or less. We can put 144 chairs here and have a pulpit area up here, a place for the drums and the organ, and we still have enough room to have 144 chairs out in the back. We also have this particular room wired for sound, for our soundboard to be used here, the current soundboard that we have, and for our video cameras, so that we can actually video record our smaller services. Anytime that we're going to go over the 140, or I should say 150 people in here. Then we will move into the large sanctuary. So now we're standing in the alcove of the of the classroom area, and our second largest classroom, one to my left and then one right behind Brother Williams. And then we've got the smaller classroom behind this back wall. I would also point out to you that from this wall to this wall, and the same on the other side, is where we're going to have built-in cabinets wherein all of the supplies that are necessary to accommodate and to take care of these classrooms will be in these supply rooms, in these supply cabinets. So we don't have to have separate cabinets and lockers and things like that for storage. All of our storage will be on this side and that side. And then you'll notice that this area is quite a nice sized area for our praise dancers to practice, and our mime team to practice, and our young people to just practice and exercise themselves and do those kinds of things that would be necessary to prepare for those youth performance activities. We're going to go into one of these smaller classrooms now. This classroom is mirrored on the other side of that walkway. And you'll note again that the insulation goes all the way up to the roof on the outer walls. This classroom will accommodate 50 people without any problem. So we can accommodate 50 people in this classroom and 50 people in the classroom on the other side. We're standing in our smallest classroom, and in this particular classroom it will accommodate 40 people, and you'll notice that it also has a television mount, great window access, should say to light. And did I mention to you earlier that all of our rooms are climate controlled by zone, so we're able to zone and have different parts of the church warm or cool depending upon what the need is without running the utility or the climate to the other areas that we're not using. I just stepped out of that small classroom and backed into another one of our ADA compliant lavatories, and so this restroom is ADA compliant just as I told you the other ones were, so that people that are in this area do not have to go to another part of the building, simply use the lavatory and then go back to their classroom. Hold on, gotta take a phone call. So now I'm just backed into our mechanical room, and the mechanical room is wherein all of the support, electrical and from our internet service provider and those kinds of things come into the building. They come from the poles, the utility poles, they come under the ground and up into the building. And what we have here is where the electricity comes in, and then all the breaker boxes that will send out the necessary electricity throughout this entire building. And something that's unique about this, I want to remind you all that we do not have conventional lighting in this building. This is an all LED building. And outside, all of our lights in the parking lot, all of our lights associated with this construction project are LED. So while there's a bit of an upfront cost, we're not expecting to have to change bulbs until about 12 to 15 years from now. And we're excited about that. So in addition to the walls being up, all of these walls are insulated. All of these walls are insulated. And from this room, other wires, our information technology wires, security wires, all of those things that are being security wires leave from this room and go to the other designated locations, to include our IT room, where we're going to have our wireless box and our internet and those kinds of things. This area is not insulated yet, simply because they're still running some wires and some things that they've got to do and blocking, and then once that's done, then all of this will be insulated and it will be ready to be sheetrocked. I've just backed into the cry room. Our cry room is a very significant room. It's not a nursery, and it's not just relegated to women with children. It's anyone who has a child, and that includes some of us grandfathers and some fathers who have infants that need to come out, eat that cracker, eat that sandwich, cry, get their diaper changed or whatever. This cry room is a place where they can come, take care of their child. We have a television monitor so that they don't lose track of what's going on in the service. It's got a lot of stuff in it right now. It's being used as a storage room for the workers, but this particular room that is also insulated and soundproof, this particular room will have a baby changing station in it, and it's where children can be brought under control, taken care of, and then parents can take their children back into the sanctuary. We are a sanctuary church. We believe that a lot of children are taken to the babysitter, taken to the school, taken to daycare, taken to and given to somewhere else. Well, one of the benefits of being a member of Praise the People is that children will learn the values that their parents have regarding worship and honoring God, and even their rhythm, sitting right by their parents, sitting on their parents' knee and watching their parents respond to the gospel, watching their parents praise God, watching their parents give honor to God, and then when they need to be attended to, knowing that there's a place where they can come and parent and child can have that quiet time until the child is ready to re-enter to the sanctuary. And now we're standing in what could arguably be called one of the most important areas in the church aside from the altar. We're standing in the outer vestibule of the lavatory. To my right, your left is the men's room, and to my left, your right is the ladies' room. And I want to point out, in this particular area, we do have a family restroom, one of those ADA compliant, for anybody needing assistance. And a very important aspect is no matter how you walk past either one of these doors, you're going to get this in just a minute, you're not able to see anybody's backs or anybody's feet. No matter where you stand outside, you can't see anybody's backs or anybody's feet. And now I want to show you something very important in the ladies' room. This is the hand washing station where we will have the sinks and the mirrors against the wall. But according to your specifications, count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stalls in the ladies' room. 10 stalls in the ladies' room, as you requested, and as we've shown in the design, they are here. This is in addition to the standalone lavatories that we have throughout the building. And so we're able to accommodate a good flow of traffic even at the end of service. And on the men's room side, we have 3 stalls and 4 commodes. I just backed into the fellowship hall. We just left the lavatories, and there is an entryway from the fellowship hall into the lavatories without going out into the main hallway. Over to my right and your left is the entryway, direct access into the fellowship hall. This fellowship hall will accommodate 180 people with 6-man tables, with the tables situated, spaced as though you were in a premium restaurant. So 180 people, and over my left shoulder up against that wall, you'll see the entryway to the kitchen, and of course the serving window to the kitchen. That door over my left shoulder is accessed from the parking lot outside into the fellowship hall and into the kitchen for use by the kitchen staff, just having to go into the kitchen, into the pantry in that area. And you'll notice again the wall behind me, insulation from the floor all the way to the roof. I neglected to say that in the lavatories and between the lavatories, all of the walls are also insulated. All of the walls are insulated in the lavatories. We're not standing outside of the fellowship hall in our main hallway. The main hallway, you're looking at the back of the main hallway, or I should say the west side of the east side of the main hallway, the west side of the main hallway. And you'll see the doorways that go into the sound vestibule going into the sanctuary. This is the door into the choir room. This is the door into our nurses station. Another entryway into the sound vestibule into the main sanctuary. And now the main entryway into the church. And while the glass is not in yet, you can see that we have two large doors, storefront doors, double doors, for people to come from a covered walkway into the sanctuary. And then directly behind me, another set of double doors for people to come directly into the congregation, into the main hallway of the church. Outside is a porte-cochere. I think I told you before that 2 large buses will be able to fit under it at one time. Out from that, we will have 2 40-foot flagpoles that will carry the national color, the national flag, and the church flag. We're going to step outside here in just a moment, and you're going to see also that a great deal of work has been done on the parking lot with regard to the base that's going to go under the asphalt. So now we're standing underneath the porte-cochere outside. To my left, you'll see those entryways that I was telling you about. This is the main entryway for coming into the main hallway. And you can see also, as you move to your left, my right, you'll see also that there's covered walkway all the way down to the entry to the fellowship hall. And now if you look over my right shoulder, you'll see that some of the ground is brown and some of the ground is black. And you'll also see curves. What you're looking at is the preparation for the asphalt to go down. The brown is a base that is required to go under the asphalt so that the asphalt will not crack, the asphalt will not get holes in it, and we've got a couple of feet of base going down before we even put the asphalt, and then you see the concrete for the curbs that are going to be placed, that are already in place around the parking lot, marking out the parking spaces. And as you look over my right shoulder, you'll see how our parking lot goes out to the back and will be going around the prayer garden. Over my left shoulder, you'll see where that Connex container is. That's sitting where the prayer garden actually begins. And so that space with the trees there, with the beautiful flowers and the parking lot, the dirt that's been cut out into it, that's parking area going there in the front and parking going around the back side of that. That prayer garden is going to be manicured. It'll be a place for solitude, a place for contemplation, a place of remembrance, a place of prayer and praise. This is Praise Cathedral, Church of God in Christ. And I'm going to ask that Brother Murphy Robertson would come over and join me, because while I'm the one that's doing most of the talking on everything that we do, I just want to let you know that Bishop Eichelhart, and we appreciate our pastor, has entrusted Brother Robertson and I together and empowered us together to work as one on his behalf and the behalf of everybody that's a part of Praise Cathedral and everybody that's giving and supporting us in their prayers. We just want to thank our leadership. We want to thank the members for allowing Brother Robertson and I to work together, because truly we are stronger together.
Amen.
This is Melvin Williams coming to you again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting ready to close this video down. We took quite a few shots on the interior of the facility. Hopefully they will do a lot of good in showing the congregation where we are in the what progress has been made in the rebuilding of our sanctuary. I want to thank Brother Warford and Brother Murphy Robertson for coming over and allowing me to go in and take this opportunity to make this video. This is volume 12 in a series of videos that I'm doing to depict the progress that is being made and that has been made